The text message from my sister arrived just as I was finishing up at the salon. Family dinner tonight. Dwayne and Paige will be there. No excuses this time. My stomach clenched. I'm Madeline, and 3 years ago, my husband of 23 years left me for my niece. Yes, you read that right. My niece Paige, the same girl who used to beg me to braid her hair and make her chocolate chip pancakes on Sunday mornings. Mom, we don't have to go, Claire said, looking up from her wedding magazine. My daughter had stopped by the salon during her lunch break, supposedly to discuss centerpieces, but really to check on me. She'd been doing that a lot lately. No, sweetie, we're going. I set down my phone with more force than necessary. I won't let them think they've won. Claire reached across the desk and squeezed my hand. You're stronger than I am. I can barely look at them without wanting to throw something. Trust me, I've imagined throwing plenty of things. I managed to smile. Speaking of throwing things, how's the wedding planning coming along? Good, except Claire bit her lip. Aunt Susan called. She's insisting Paige should be invited. The familiar anger bubbled up inside me. Absolutely not. That woman is not coming anywhere near your wedding. That's what I told her. But then she started crying about family unity and second chances. Second chances? I laughed bitterly. Like the second chance Dwayne gave himself with a 20-something version of me? The bell above the salon door chimed, and my best friend Celeste walked in, taking one look at our faces before announcing, "Well, this calls for wine." "It's 2 in the afternoon," I protested. "And you're about to have dinner with your ex-husband and his child bride. I'd say that qualifies as wine o'clock." She pulled a bottle from her oversized purse. "I keep this for emergencies." 3 hours and several glasses later, we pulled up to my sister Susan's house. Claire squeezed my arm before we walked in. Remember what Celeste said. We're here to show them we're unbothered. The moment we stepped inside, I heard Paige's laugh. That artificial, too loud sound that always reminded me of wind chimes in a storm. She was perched on the arm of Dwayne's chair, wearing a dress that probably cost more than my monthly rent. "Madeline!" Susan rushed over, hugging me too tightly. "I'm so glad you came. We've missed you at these gatherings." "Well, I've been busy." I forced a smile. "The salon's doing really well." "Oh, that's nice." Susan's eyes darted to where Dwayne and Paige sat. Dwayne's firm just landed another major client, and Paige has been doing amazing work with her interior design business. How wonderful for them. I headed straight for the wine. Dinner was excruciating. Every time Paige opened her mouth, it was to mention another luxury vacation or expensive purchase. Dwayne sat there beaming at her like she was dispensing pure wisdom instead of just flaunting his money. "Claire, honey," Paige suddenly turned her attention to my daughter. "I hear you're planning a June wedding. You know, I have some amazing contacts in the industry. I'd love to help." I nearly choked on my wine. Claire's knuckles went white around her fork. "That's very kind," Claire managed. "But we've got it handled." "Oh, but you simply must let me help." Paige's smile didn't reach her eyes. "After all, we're family, and I do know all the best people. I'd hate for anything to go wrong." The threat in her voice was subtle but clear. I set down my glass before I could throw it. "Actually, Paige," I said sweetly, "I think you've helped our family quite enough already." The table went silent. Dwayne cleared his throat. "Madeline, no, it's fine." Paige's laugh tinkled through the tension. "I understand Madeline's still adjusting, but don't worry, I'll be seeing everyone very soon." She winked at Claire, who looked like she might be sick. As we drove home later, Claire was unusually quiet. "Mom," she finally said, "I have a bad feeling about this." "Me too, sweetie." I gripped the steering wheel tighter. "Me too." But I had no idea just how right we both were, or how much that dinner would set in motion the events that would change everything. The morning of Claire's wedding dawned perfect. Too perfect. As I helped her into her dress, that nagging feeling from the family dinner 6 months ago still haunted me. "You look absolutely beautiful," I whispered, fighting back tears as I adjusted her veil. "Mom, don't cry or I'll start crying, and Celeste will kill us both if we ruin our makeup." Claire squeezed my hands, her own eyes glistening. A knock at the door made us both jump. Celeste poked her head in. "Everything okay in here? The photographer's ready for—" "Oh my God, what did I say about crying?" "We're not," Claire and I said in unison, frantically fanning our faces. "Good, because Owen's already emotional enough for everyone. That boy's been pacing the garden for an hour." Celeste paused, her expression turning serious. "Also, there's something you should know." Before she could finish, the door burst open. Paige swept in wearing a white dress that could easily be mistaken for a wedding gown. Surprise! She threw her arms wide. I just couldn't miss my favorite cousin's big day. Claire's face went pale. You weren't invited. Oh, please, we're family, and look what I brought. Paige held up a crystal bottle. The most expensive champagne money can buy. We simply must have a toast before the ceremony. Get out. My voice was ice. Now. Make me. Paige's smile turned cruel. I have every right to be here, unless you want to cause a scene and ruin Claire's special day. I started forward, but Celeste grabbed my arm. Not worth it, she muttered. Fine. Paige set down the champagne. I'll just go find my seat, front row naturally. After all, I am the bride's only cousin. The moment she left, Claire collapsed into a chair. Mom, I can't do this. Not with her here. Yes, you can. I knelt beside her. This is your day. Don't let her take it from you. The ceremony started beautifully. Owen's face when he saw Claire walking down the aisle made my heart swell. But halfway through their vows, I heard it. Paige's distinctive laugh, loud and deliberate. The minister paused. Claire's hands trembled in Owen's. Sorry, Paige called out. Just so touching. She continued to make small disruptions. A cough here, a whispered comment there. Each time, Claire's shoulders tensed more. Then came the ring exchange. As Owen reached for Claire's ring, Paige suddenly lurched forward, accidentally bumping the best man. The ring went flying, landing in a decorative fountain with a splash. Oh no! Paige gasped dramatically. How clumsy of me! Chaos erupted. The best man rolled up his sleeve to fish for the ring. Guests started murmuring. Claire looked ready to cry. Wait, I called out. I slipped off my own wedding ring, the one I'd kept all these years, planning to give to Claire someday anyway. Use this for now. Owen shot me a grateful look and slipped it onto Claire's finger. The ceremony continued, but the damage was done. The perfect moment was broken. At the reception, Paige wasn't finished. She grabbed the microphone during the toasts. I'd like to say something about love, she slurred, clearly drunk. About how sometimes it comes when you least expect it, like when your much older husband realizes his niece is his soulmate. Owen's brother tackled the DJ booth and cut the sound. But Paige kept going, her voice carrying across the stunned crowd. And sometimes weddings don't last. Just ask Madeline. Or better yet, ask Dwayne. He's right here. Stand up, honey. Tell everyone how you upgraded. Security finally removed her, but she was laughing the whole way out. See you all at the next family dinner, she called over her shoulder. Later that night, after we'd salvaged what we could of the reception, I found Claire crying in the bathroom. I'm so sorry, sweetheart, I whispered, holding her close. Why does she hate us so much, Mom? What did we ever do to her? I had no answer. But as I helped Claire fix her makeup one last time, something inside me hardened. Paige had crossed a line, and I was done playing nice. You know what? I said, watching Claire and Owen drive away to their honeymoon. It's time someone taught that girl about consequences. Celeste raised an eyebrow. What are you thinking? I'm thinking, I said slowly, that revenge is a dish best served with a bow on top. I didn't know exactly what form my revenge would take yet, but watching Paige stumble to her car, still wearing that smug smile, I knew one thing for certain. She was about to learn that karma has a way of coming back around, and I was going to help it along. Look what I found. Claire spread old photos across my kitchen table a week after returning from her honeymoon. Her eyes were still red from crying about the wedding video, which had captured every one of Paige's disruptions in HD glory. Where did these come from? I picked up a photo of Paige at 16, posing in my garden. Owen and I were cleaning out Grandma's attic. There's a whole box. Claire pulled out another picture. Remember this? When Paige begged you to host her sweet 16 because her mom wouldn't? The memory hit hard. I spent 3 weeks planning that party, made her favorite strawberry cake from scratch, and now we know why she really wanted it here. Claire's voice turned bitter. She held up another photo, Paige making eyes at Dwayne across the party table. She was already plotting. What else is in that box? We spent the next hour discovering Paige's careful documentation of her obsession with my ex-husband. Photos, diary entries, even old receipts from coffee shops where she'd accidentally run into him. She planned this for years, I whispered, feeling sick. right under our noses. The doorbell rang, making us both jump. It was Rodney, our family lawyer and friend, holding a manila envelope. "You're not going to believe what crossed my desk today," he said, settling into a chair. "Dwayne's trying to buy the old Harrison property." "The one by the lake?" I sat up straighter. "But that's been in Celeste's family for generations." "Exactly. And guess who's pushing hard for it? Paige has been calling the office daily, claiming it's her dream home." Claire snorted. "More like she's desperate to get into the country club next door. They rejected her membership application twice." Rodney spread out some documents. "Here's the interesting part. The property has some unique deed restrictions. The original owner was big on community service, made it a condition of ownership." Something clicked in my mind. "Tell me more about these conditions." "Monthly volunteer work, regular community engagement, annual charitable contributions." He smiled. "Not exactly Paige's style." "No," I said slowly, an idea forming. "But it could be." Claire leaned forward. "Mom, what are you thinking?" "I'm thinking about how much Paige wants that house, and how interesting it would be if someone else bought it first." Rodney raised an eyebrow. "You don't have that kind of money, Madeline." "No, but I have something better." I pulled out my phone, dialing Celeste. "Hey, remember how you said you owed me for covering your salon shifts last month? I need a favor." Over the next hour, a plan took shape. Celeste agreed to sell me the property at a fraction of its value. Consider it payback for 20 years of friendship, with one condition: I had to keep it in the family. "Perfect," I said, "because I'm planning to give it away." "To Paige?" Claire looked horrified. "Eventually. But first, we're going to make her earn it." I turned to Rodney. "How creative can we get with deed restrictions?" His grin was answer enough. Later that evening, after Claire and Rodney left, I sat alone looking through more photos. One caught my eye, Paige at 12, helping me plant roses. She was smiling, genuinely smiling, not that fake laugh she used now. My phone buzzed with a text from my sister. "Paige is devastated about the house. Someone outbid them. She's been crying all day." I should have felt satisfied. Instead, I felt something unexpected: hope. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't just about revenge anymore. Celeste called next. "The papers are ready. Are you sure about this? It's a lot of money to tie up in a lesson." "It's not just about the money," I replied. "It's about showing her actions have consequences. But also what? Also about giving her a chance to be the person she used to be, before all this." "You're a better person than me," Celeste sighed. "I just want revenge." "Oh, don't worry," I said, picking up the photo of teenage Paige making eyes at my husband. "There will be plenty of that, too." I started making a list of conditions for the deed, each one designed to challenge Paige's entitled worldview, each one a step toward either redemption or humiliation. Her choice. "Time to learn," I whispered to the photo, "that some things can't be bought. Some things have to be earned." And I was going to make her earn every single inch of that property, one humbling condition at a time. "These conditions are genius," Rodney said, reviewing the document I'd drafted. We were sitting in his office, surrounded by legal papers and coffee cups. "But are you sure you want to make them this intense?" "Read them again," I insisted, out loud. He adjusted his glasses. "Condition 1. Monthly volunteer work at the local women's shelter, minimum 20 hours. Condition 2. Weekly cooking classes at the community center, teaching basic skills to underprivileged youth. The same center where she mocked the staff last Christmas," I added. Condition 3. Regular participation in neighborhood cleanup initiatives. Condition 4. Annual donation of 15% of household income to local charities." He looked up. "You know Dwayne's gonna hate that last one." "That's the point. Hit them where it hurts, their precious image and their wallet." The door opened and Claire walked in with Owen. "Did you add the one about the garden?" Condition 5, Rodney continued. "Maintain and expand the existing community garden, including weekly sessions teaching local children about sustainable growing practices." "Perfect." Claire smiled grimly. "Paige hates getting her hands dirty. Remember when she complained about breaking a nail at Grandma's funeral?" Owen whistled. "This is either going to break her or make her a better person." "Win-win," I said. Rodney shuffled the papers. "There's just one problem. How are we going to ensure she actually does these things? She could just fake the documentation. Already handled. I pulled out my phone. I've got commitments from every organization involved. They'll report directly to you as the executor. Plus, I've arranged for local news coverage of the generous young socialite giving back to her community. She'll hate that, Claire grinned. She only likes press she can control. Exactly. And here's the kicker. If she fails to meet any condition, even once, the property reverts to a community trust. No refunds, no appeals. Rodney let out a low whistle. You've thought of everything. Almost. I reached into my bag and pulled out an ornate box. This is how we'll present the deed. It belonged to my grandmother. Paige always coveted it. Along with everything else that wasn't hers, Claire muttered. I opened the box, revealing the velvet interior. The deed goes here, along with photos documenting her, let's call them, greatest hits. The time she crashed cousin Sarah's baby shower. The Christmas she announced her engagement to Dwayne during my mother's cancer recovery celebration, the wedding video. Brutal, Owen said admiringly. She needs to understand why this is happening. I closed the box carefully. Each photo comes with a corresponding condition. Want to avoid the women's shelter? Here's you mocking domestic violence survivors at the fundraiser last year. Don't like teaching kids? Here's you making fun of the community center's after-school program. Mom, Claire said softly, this is brilliant, but are you sure you're ready for the fallout? The fallout's already happened, sweetheart. She made sure of that. This is about consequences. Rodney started preparing the final paperwork. When do you want to do this? Their anniversary party is next weekend. Susan's hosting again. Perfect timing, Claire said. She's been bragging about it for months. All her society friends will be there. Speaking of society, Owen added, I talked to my sister at the country club. They're planning to reject Paige's membership application again next week. She'll be desperate for a win. I placed the deed in the box, along with the carefully selected photos. Then let's give her one, with strings attached. You know, Rodney said, watching me arrange everything, this could backfire. She might rise to the challenge, become a better person, and end up with a beautiful lakefront property. That's not backfiring, I replied. That's the best possible outcome. Either way, she learned something about karma. Claire helped me tie a perfect bow around the box. What if she refuses? Then she proves to everyone exactly who she is, and that property she's been dreaming of becomes a community center named after her grandmother, the woman whose funeral she skipped for a spa day. As we finished the preparations, my phone buzzed with a text from Susan. Paige is inconsolable about losing the house, says her life is ruined. Please come to the anniversary party. She needs all her family around her. I showed the message to Claire, who rolled her eyes. Classic Paige, making everything about her. Don't worry, I said, closing the ornate box with a satisfying click. She's about to get exactly what she deserves, one way or another. Looking at that box, I felt a strange mix of emotions. Satisfaction, anticipation, and something else. Maybe hope. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying someone. Sometimes it's about forcing them to become better than they are. I found something you need to see. Celeste burst into my salon after closing, waving her phone. Remember Tommy from the country club? He just sent me these. I peered at the screen. Photos of Paige, much younger, working at what looked like a soup kitchen. Another showed her reading to elderly patients in a hospital. That's not possible, I said. Paige would never. It was before Dwayne, Celeste explained. Tommy says she used to volunteer there every weekend. Look at the dates. She stopped right around the time she started pursuing my husband. The realization hit hard. So she wasn't always like this. There's more. Celeste scrolled through her phone. According to Tommy, she was studying to be a social worker before she dropped out to become an interior designer. She made air quotes with her fingers. What happened to her? I whispered. The bell above the door chimed. Claire walked in with a stack of papers. Mom, I've been doing some digging. You won't believe. Let me guess, I interrupted. Paige used to be a decent person? How did you know? I pointed to Celeste's phone. We're just finding out ourselves. Keep going. Claire spread the papers on my styling station. These are her college transcripts, straight A's in social work courses, letters of recommendation from professors. She was even up for a scholarship to study trauma counseling. Until Dwayne, I said. Until Dwayne, Claire confirmed. It's like she became a completely different person. Celeste sat down heavily. Maybe your revenge plan isn't just about punishment. Maybe it's about reminding her who she used to be. The door chimed again. This time it was Owen, looking troubled. I just ran into Dwayne at the coffee shop. You need to hear this. We gathered around as Owen recounted the conversation he'd overheard between Dwayne and his business partner. He's losing money, Owen explained. Bad investments, market downturns. That's why they wanted the lake house so badly. It's one of the few properties in the area still guaranteed to appreciate. And now they can't have it, I said. There's more. I heard Paige crying in the bathroom. She was on the phone with someone, saying she feels trapped. Said she's tired of pretending to be something she's not. The salon fell silent as we absorbed this information. Mom, Claire said slowly, are we the bad guys here? No, Celeste cut in. Paige made her choices. But maybe... She glanced at the ornate box sitting on my desk. Maybe this is a chance to help her make better ones. I picked up one of the old photos of Paige at the soup kitchen. Her smile was genuine, her eyes bright with purpose. So different from the artificial laugh and calculated gestures she used now. We need to modify the conditions, I said suddenly. What? Why? Claire looked alarmed. After everything she did? Not remove them, enhance them. Instead of just volunteering at the women's shelter, she could counsel there. Use that social work training she abandoned. Owen nodded thoughtfully. The community center needs a program director for their youth services. And the garden project, Celeste added, could be therapeutic programming for trauma survivors. Something she actually studied. I started revising the documents, energy flowing through me. We're not just going to make her do good things. We're going to remind her why she wanted to do them in the first place. But what about the revenge? Claire asked. What about consequences for what she did to us? This is the revenge, I replied. Making her confront who she was, who she became, and who she could be. That's a harder punishment than anything else we could devise. And if she refuses? Owen asked. Then she loses everything. The house, her reputation, and her last chance at redemption. But if she accepts... I smiled. She might just save herself. We worked late into the night, refining the conditions. Each task now had a deeper purpose, a connection to the person Paige had once been. The photos in the box weren't just evidence of her misdeeds anymore. They were paired with images of her past good works, a before and after of her soul. As everyone was leaving, Celeste paused at the door. You know, most people would just want to destroy her. Destruction is easy, I said, closing the box one final time. Redemption, that's the real challenge. And if she fails? I thought about the wedding, about all the pain she'd caused. Then at least we gave her a choice. What happens next is up to her. The anniversary party was 2 days away. The trap was set, but now it felt less like a trap and more like a lifeline. Whether Paige would grab it remained to be seen. Susan's house buzzed with activity as caterers rushed around setting up for Dwayne and Paige's anniversary party. I stood in the corner, clutching the ornate box, watching Paige hold court among her society friends. Can you believe someone outbid us on that gorgeous lakefront property? She was saying. Probably some developer who'll ruin the whole neighborhood. Such a shame, one of her friends simpered. You would have been perfect for the country club set. Claire appeared at my elbow. Ready for this? As I'll ever be. I adjusted my grip on the box. Where's Owen? Recording everything from the security camera angle. Rodney's got the paperwork ready. Paige's voice carried across the room. At least we still have the summer house in the Hamptons, though it's so tedious having only one vacation property. Now, Claire whispered, while she's performing for her audience. I stepped forward, box extended. Happy anniversary, Paige. The room quieted. Paige's eyes locked onto the box, recognition flickering across her face. Grandmother's jewelry box. I always loved this. She reached for it greedily. Open it, I said softly. I think you'll find it contains exactly what you deserve. Her fingers trembled slightly as she untied the bow. The lid creaked open, and her expression froze. What is this? She pulled out the deed, then the photos. Color drained from her face as she flipped through them. A gift, I said. The lake house you wanted so badly. It's yours. Her eyes narrowed. What's the catch? Read the conditions. As she scanned the document, her artificial smile slipped. This is ridiculous. Community service? Counseling programs? Teaching? She laughed that tinkling laugh, but it sounded strained. You can't be serious. Very serious. I pointed to the photos. Each condition corresponds to one of your memorable moments. Think of it as karmic balance. Dwayne, she called out, come look at what your ex-wife is trying to pull. He appeared beside her, scanning the papers. His face darkened. 15% of our income to charity? Mandatory community involvement? This is extortion. No, I corrected. This is opportunity. The property you wanted at well below market value. All you have to do is give back to the community you've taken so much from. Paige's hands shook as she came to the last photo, herself at the soup kitchen years ago. Where did you get this? Remember who you were, Paige, before the designer clothes and society parties? That girl wanted to help people. That girl was naive, she snapped, but her voice wavered. That girl was real. I stepped closer, and she's still in there, underneath all this. I gestured to her carefully curated exterior. You can't make me do this. But she hadn't let go of the deed. You're right. I can't make you do anything. But if you refuse, the property goes to a community trust. They'll build a center there, named after your grandmother. You know, the one whose funeral you skipped for a spa day? The room had gone completely silent. Paige's friends watched with undisguised interest as her perfect facade cracked. Why are you doing this? She whispered. Because someone needs to show you that actions have consequences. And because I touched the old photo of her at the soup kitchen. Because I remember this girl, and I think she deserves another chance. This is absurd, Dwayne blustered. We don't need your charity. Actually, Paige cut him off, still staring at the photo. Actually, I want to think about it. Paige. Dwayne looked scandalized. I said, I want to think about it. Her voice was different, harder, more like her old self. I nodded. You have 24 hours. After that, the offer goes to the trust. As I turned to leave, Paige called out, that girl in the photo, she wasn't pretending. I know, I said. That's why I'm giving her one last chance. Claire and I walked out together, leaving behind a murmuring crowd and a very quiet Paige still holding the open box. Did you see her face when she saw the old photos? Claire asked as we got in the car. Yes, for just a moment her mask slipped. Do you think she'll do it? I started the engine, remembering the look in Paige's eyes when she saw her younger self. I think for the first time in years, she's going to have to make a real choice. Not about what she wants to have, but about who she wants to be. And if she chooses wrong, then at least we'll all know exactly who she is. I pulled away from Susan's house. But something tells me that girl from the soup kitchen isn't quite done fighting yet. The call came from Rodney exactly 23 hours later. She's here, with Dwayne, and she's asking for you. I found them in Rodney's office, Paige still clutching the ornate box. She'd stripped off her usual perfect makeup, and her designer clothes had been replaced with jeans and a simple sweater. She looked younger, more vulnerable. I have conditions of my own, she said as I sat down. Dwayne shifted uncomfortably. Paige, we discussed this. No, she cut him off. You discussed. Now I'm talking. She turned to me. First, I want to run the women's shelter counseling program my way. No interference. Agreed, I said, as long as you maintain the required hours. Second, I want to finish my social work degree. The community service hours should count toward my practicum requirements. Rodney nodded, making notes. We can arrange that. And third, she pulled out the photo of herself at the soup kitchen. I want Aunt Madeline to work with me, not supervising, not judging, working alongside me. The room went silent. Even Dwayne looked surprised. Why? I asked. Because, she took a deep breath, you're the only one who remembered who I used to be, and maybe I need help finding her again. Dwayne stood up abruptly. This is ridiculous. We don't need this house. We can buy... No, we can't. Paige's voice was sharp. Tell her the truth, Dwayne. Tell her about the failed investments, the mounting debt. Tell her why you've been pushing so hard for this property. He sank back into his chair, deflated. I'll sign the agreement, Paige continued. All of it. But I need to know if you're doing this just to punish me, or if you actually believe I can change. I studied her face. No artificial smile, no calculated charm. Just raw honesty. Okay, I said. Partners. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. Paige threw herself into the conditions with an intensity that surprised everyone. She started at the women's shelter, initially met with skepticism by the staff who remembered her previous behavior. "They hate me," she admitted one evening as we left the shelter together. "I deserve it." "Give them time," I said. "Actions speak louder than words." She proved it the following week, staying late to counsel a teenage girl who reminded me of the old Paige, bright, ambitious, but lost. I watched through the window as Paige shared her own story, tears streaming down both their faces. The community garden proved challenging in unexpected ways. "I can't believe I used to mock this," she said, dirt streaked across her face as we planted tomatoes with local kids. "It's actually therapeutic." "Remember when you used to help me with my roses?" I asked. "Before I decided designer clothes and social status were more important?" "Yeah." She sat back on her heels. "I was so stupid." Not stupid, lost. Dwayne showed up less and less as Paige immersed herself in her new roles. Then one day, she arrived at the shelter alone, engagement ring missing. "He couldn't handle the new me," she explained simply. "Or maybe I couldn't handle the old him." The real breakthrough came during Claire's visit to the community center. Paige was teaching a cooking class to at-risk teens when Claire walked in. "I'm sorry," Paige said immediately, putting down her mixing bowl. "For the wedding. For everything." Claire hesitated, then picked up an apron. "Show me what you're making." By the end of the class, they were laughing together, flour in their hair, just like when they were kids. "You know what's weird?" Paige said to me later. "Following your conditions, doing all this community work, it was supposed to be my punishment, but it feels more like coming home." "That was the point," I admitted. "The girl in that soup kitchen photo, she didn't need revenge. She needed a way back." Paige wiped her eyes. "I have one more condition to fulfill." She pulled out a check, 15% of her savings, made out to the women's shelter. "It's not much since I'm starting over, but it's a start. Starting over is what this was always about." As we walked to our cars, Paige stopped suddenly. "Thank you," she said, "for not giving up on me, even when I gave up on myself." I thought about the ornate box, now sitting on our desk at the shelter, filled with new photos. Paige with her cooking class, working in the garden, counseling at the shelter. "Sometimes," I said, "the best revenge is helping someone become who they were always meant to be." She smiled, a real smile, not the artificial one she'd worn for so long. "Even if that someone broke your heart?" Especially then. The autumn air was crisp as I pulled into the driveway of the lake house. Music and laughter drifted from the backyard, where Paige was hosting her first community fundraiser. "Perfect timing," Claire called from the garden. She was arranging flowers grown by the youth program. "Mom, you won't believe what Paige just did." Before she could explain, Paige emerged from the house carrying a tray of appetizers made by her cooking class. Her hair was tied back simply, and she wore a volunteer coordinator badge from the shelter. "Aunt Madeline." She set down the tray. "I need to show you something." She led me through the crowd to a newly constructed gazebo overlooking the lake. Inside, a plaque caught my eye. "The Second Chance Garden, where growth begins again." "That's not all," Claire said, joining us. "Tell her about the scholarship." Paige blushed. "I'm using my divorce settlement to create a scholarship fund for survivors at the shelter who want to pursue social work degrees." "Like you're doing?" I asked. "Actually," she pulled out an envelope. "I got my acceptance letter today. Full program, starting next semester." Before I could respond, Susan rushed over. "Paige, honey, Dwayne's here. He's demanding to speak with you." We turned to see him striding across the lawn in an expensive suit, looking out of place among the casual fundraiser crowd. "I got this," Paige said quietly. We watched as she met him halfway. Their conversation was intense but controlled. "You're throwing away everything we built," he said, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. "No," Paige replied calmly. "I'm building something real for the first time. Did you need something specific, or did you just come to remind me what I left behind?" "The country club board approved my membership last week," she interrupted. "Not as your wife, but as the director of community outreach. Turns out they value social contribution over social climbing." He deflated slightly. "Your mother says you're selling your designer clothes." "Consignment sale next week. Proceeds go to the shelter's legal fund." She smiled. "You should come. Might find something nice for your next wife." The crowd that had gathered tried to hide their smiles. Dwayne looked around, finally seeming to notice the meaningful work happening everywhere. Teenagers teaching gardening skills, shelter residents serving food they'd learned to cook, social workers networking with local leaders. You really have changed, he said quietly. Yes, Paige agreed. I grew up. It's not too late for you either, you know. He shook his head and walked away. This time, Paige didn't watch him go. Later, as the fundraiser wound down, we sat in the gazebo watching the sunset over the lake. Claire joined us, bringing hot chocolate. Owen's talking about volunteering at the center, she said. The kids love him. Everyone's welcome, Paige replied. That's kind of the point. She pulled out the ornate box, now weathered from frequent handling. Inside, alongside the old photos, were new ones. Paige receiving her counseling certification, Claire and Paige gardening together, the three of us at shelter events. I keep this to remind me, she said. Not of who I was, but of who I chose to become. About that, I reached into my bag. I brought something for you. It was a framed photo of her at 16, helping me with my roses. On the back, I'd written, "Some flowers bloom twice." Tears welled in her eyes. I don't deserve all these second chances. That's exactly why you deserve them, I said, because you finally understand that. Claire raised her hot chocolate. To second chances. And third and fourth ones, Paige added, as many as it takes. As the last guest left, carrying fresh vegetables and information packets about local services, Paige turned to me. You know, when you gave me this house with all those conditions, I thought it was the cruelest revenge possible. She laughed softly, making me face myself, my choices, my potential. It was harder than any punishment. And now? Now I understand that real revenge would have been letting me stay lost. She hugged me tightly. Thank you for finding me instead. The lake reflected the last rays of sunlight as we cleaned up together. Aunt, daughter, and niece. Our shadows long, but our hearts lighter than they'd been in years. Ready to go? Claire asked eventually. Actually, Paige said, I was hoping you both might stay. I'm making grandmother's lasagna recipe for my cooking class tomorrow. Could use some expert advice. I looked at my daughter, who nodded with a smile. We'd love to, I said, following them into the warm light of the house that had become not just Paige's home, but a home for second chances. Sometimes the best endings aren't about getting even. They're about getting better together.
The silver happy birthday banner droops pathetically over the dining room entrance, forgotten and askew like everything else about my 24th birthday. Inside, champagne glasses clink as my family celebrates Emma's latest triumph, a promotion to senior marketing director that apparently matters more than my existence. I'm Jade, the Thompson family's perpetual afterthought. To Emma, Mother raises her glass, her pearl necklace catching the chandelier light. We always knew you were destined for greatness, sweetheart. I stand in the corner, clutching my untouched champagne, watching the familiar scene unfold. Emma basks in the attention, her perfectly manicured hand resting on her husband Ryan's shoulder while their kids, Lucas and Mason, chase each other around the dining table. Such an achievement at 31, Father beams, his pride practically radiating. The youngest senior director in the company's history. The irony of celebrating Emma's success on my birthday isn't lost on me. But then again, nothing about this family ever is. I take a sip of champagne, letting the bitter bubbles match my mood. We should discuss the house renovation now, Emma announces, her voice carrying that entitled tone I've grown to despise. Ryan and I found the perfect contractor. Mother clasps her hands together. Oh, wonderful. Mark, we should help them with the down payment. I nearly choke on my drink. Last month, when I asked for help with my student loan payments, they claimed finances were tight. Funny how money materializes when Emma needs it. Actually, I clear my throat. I was hoping we could discuss. Not now, Jade. Mother cuts me off with a dismissive wave. Emma's showing us the renovation plans. I slip away to the kitchen, needing space to breathe. Through the door, I hear them continuing their discussion about Emma's perfect life. Perfect children, perfect everything. The sound of their voices draws me toward the study, where I overhear Father speaking in hushed tones. Lisa, we can't keep doing this. The investments for Emma's house, the private school for the boys, it's stretching us thin. Mark, she needs our support. She's building a life for our grandchildren. But what about, shh, someone might hear. I step back, my hand trembling as I set down my glass. The familiar ache in my chest transforms into something darker, heavier. Years of being overlooked, dismissed, and pushed aside crystallize into a single, clarifying moment. My phone buzzes. A text from Nina, my best friend. "Happy birthday! Dinner tonight?" Before I can reply, Emma's voice rings out. "Jade, where are you? We need help with the cake." Of course they do. They always need something from me, but never for me. I watch through the kitchen window as a bird slams into the glass, stunning itself before flying away. Something about its desperate escape attempt resonates deep within me. "Coming!" I call back, but I remain rooted in place, my mind racing with possibilities. The bird recovers, shakes itself off, and takes flight again, this time with purpose, with direction. I pick up my phone and text Nina back. "Yes, we need to talk. I'm done being the family doormat." The sounds of laughter and celebration continue in the dining room, but something has shifted inside me. They don't realize it yet, but this birthday marks more than just another year of my existence. It marks the day I stopped accepting my role as the forgotten Thompson. As I push through the kitchen door, plastering on my usual compliant smile, I'm already plotting. Emma's perfect life is built on cards, and I've just decided to become the wind that brings it all down. Let them eat cake. Soon enough, they'll be choking on it. Nina's apartment feels like sanctuary after the disaster of my birthday dinner. The city lights twinkle beyond her balcony as I cradle a glass of wine, recounting the evening's events. She listens, dark eyes narrowing at each fresh detail. And now this. I slide my phone across the coffee table, showing her the family group chat message that arrived 10 minutes ago. Emma's text glows on the screen. "Everyone, Ryan and I have the most wonderful news. Family brunch tomorrow at 11. Don't be late, this is huge." "Another performance in the Emma show," Nina mutters, refilling our glasses. "You don't have to go." I do, actually, because missing it means 3 weeks of guilt-tripping texts from Mother. The next morning, I arrive at my parents' house exactly 2 minutes late. Emma's already holding court in the living room, Ryan hovering beside her with that anxious look he's been wearing lately. "There you are?" Emma beams, but her eyes are sharp. "We were about to start without you." Mother fusses with the coffee service. "Jade, fix your hair. It looks messy." I ignore her, taking a seat as far from Emma as possible. Lucas and Mason tear through the room, screaming at full volume, while Father half-heartedly tells them to settle down. "So," Emma stands, commanding attention like she's at a board meeting. "As you know, I've been thinking about my priorities lately. After much consideration, I've decided to leave my position at the firm." The coffee cup nearly slips from Mother's hands. "But darling, your promotion is wonderful, yes, but there's something even more wonderful." Emma's hand drifts to her stomach. "We're expecting again. I want to be a full-time mother to all my children." The room erupts in squeals and congratulations. I watch Ryan's face carefully. There's something tight around his eyes that doesn't match his smile. "Of course, we'll need help with the transition," Emma continues. "The renovation costs are higher than expected, and with the new baby—" "Whatever you need, sweetheart," Father says immediately, though I notice his hand tightening on his armrest. I can't help myself. Interesting timing, giving up your salary right after the promotion bonus cleared. The room goes silent. Emma's smile doesn't waver, but her eyes turn to ice. "Some of us prioritize family over money, Jade." "That's enough," Mother snaps. "Jade, why must you always spoil things?" I stand up, my coffee untouched. "Right, because questioning St. Emma's latest scheme is spoiling things. Never mind that my student loan payment bounced last week because the help you promised never came." "Your sister has children to think about," Father says, but he won't meet my eyes. "And I'm what? The family ATM? The built-in babysitter? The invisible daughter who exists to prop up Emma's perfect life?" Emma steps forward, voice dripping with concern. "Oh, Jade, is this about your birthday? I'm so sorry if you felt overlooked. Maybe if you had achieved something worth celebrating." The words hit like a slap. I grab my bag, heading for the door, but Emma's next words freeze me in place. "Actually, since you brought up money, Ryan and I could use your help with Lucas and Mason this summer. 3 days a week? We can't afford a nanny with the renovation costs, and you're between real jobs anyway. I turn slowly, taking in the scene. My parents nodding approvingly, Ryan studying the floor, Emma's perfectly practiced expression of sisterly affection. Between real jobs, I repeat. You mean my freelance writing doesn't count as real work? Well, Emma shrugs. It's not exactly stable, is it? This would give you something meaningful to do. I look at each of them, my father avoiding conflict as usual, my mother already planning Emma's baby shower in her head, Ryan's strange nervousness, and Emma's absolute certainty that I'll cave like I always do. No, I say quietly. What? I said no. Find someone else to exploit. As I walk out, I hear Mother calling after me, but I don't stop. In my car, my phone lights up with messages, mostly variations of "How dare you" and "Your sister needs you." But there's also a text from Ryan. We need to talk, privately. I start the engine, a plan forming in my mind. Emma's perfect life is built on secrets, and I'm betting Ryan knows exactly where the cracks are. Time to start pushing. The coffee shop Ryan chose sits in a forgotten strip mall on the edge of town. Perfect for secrets. He's already there when I arrive, hunched over his phone like it might save him. Thanks for meeting me, he says, not quite meeting my eyes. His wedding ring taps a nervous rhythm against his cup. You said it was important. He glances around before sliding a folder across the table. Emma doesn't know I'm here. If she finds out... Inside are bank statements, investment reports, and loan documents. My hands start shaking as I read. The numbers don't make sense. Hundreds of thousands missing, high-risk investments, massive withdrawals. She's been using father's power of attorney, I say, the pieces clicking together. The renovation money? Isn't for renovations, Ryan's voice cracks. She's trying to cover my mistakes. I got in deep with some people, gambling. A bitter laugh escapes me. And naturally, Emma's solution was to steal from our parents. Your father's retirement fund is almost gone. His words hit like bullets. The house equity, too. She keeps saying she can fix it, that one big investment will turn everything around. My phone buzzes. Mother, probably with another guilt trip about the brunch disaster. I silence it. Why tell me this? Ryan runs a hand through his hair. Because she's pregnant again and I can't. The people I owe, they're not patient. She thinks throwing more money at it will help. But it's making everything worse. How convenient that she's quitting her job now. No paper trail linking her to the investments when it all falls apart. Jade, please, I know we've treated you. Save it. I gather the documents, my mind racing. Does anyone else know? No, Emma's too proud, and your parents trust her completely. I stand, tucking the folder into my bag. I'll need copies of everything. What are you going to do? The fear in his voice should make me feel something. Pity, maybe, or sympathy. Instead, I feel nothing but cold clarity. That depends on Emma. Later that night, I find her waiting outside my apartment. She's wearing her power suit, her armor for difficult conversations. We need to talk about your attitude, she says, pushing past me into the living room. Mother's upset, father's disappointed. How's the investment portfolio? I interrupt. She freezes for a fraction of a second, so brief anyone else would miss it. But I'm watching for it. I don't know what you mean. Really? Because I have some fascinating documents that suggest otherwise. Father's retirement fund? The house equity? Ring any bells? Her mask slips, revealing something ugly underneath. Ryan told you. He showed me everything. Though I have to admire your efficiency. Stealing from our parents while convincing them to fund your escape plan. That's impressive, even for you. You don't understand? Oh, I understand perfectly. Ryan gambles, you steal, and everyone else pays the price. Tale as old as time. She steps closer, voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. If you breathe a word of this to anyone, I'll destroy you. Everything you're trying to build with your little writing career, gone. Who do you think they'll believe? Perfect Emma or bitter, jealous Jade? You really don't get it, do you? I pull out my phone, showing her the email I'd drafted earlier. To the Financial Crimes Division regarding suspicious activity. One click, Emma. That's all it takes. The color drains from her face. You wouldn't. Try me. I'm done being your safety net. I'm pregnant, she says, like it's a shield. Think about your nephews, your family. You should have thought about them before you stole their future. She grabs her purse, hands shaking. At the door, she turns back. This isn't over. No, I agree, feeling strangely calm. It's just beginning. After she leaves, I pour a glass of wine and open my laptop. The email to the Financial Crimes Division stares back at me, cursor blinking on the send button. Not yet. Emma's right about one thing. This isn't over. I have years of invisible wounds to repay, and I want her to feel every single one. I close the laptop and smile. Let her sweat, wondering when the axe will fall. Sometimes revenge is sweeter when served in small, excruciating portions. The anonymous email takes 3 minutes to compose and 10 seconds to send. By morning, whispers about financial irregularities at Emma's firm have already started circulating. Just a hint. A carefully worded suggestion about improper use of client funds during her tenure. Nothing direct, nothing traceable. I watch the chaos unfold from my laptop screen, tracking the internal memo leaks and worried social media posts from her former colleagues. Emma's phone calls go straight to my voicemail. Nina sets a fresh coffee in front of me. You sure about this? She did it to herself. I close the laptop. I'm just spreading the truth. My phone buzzes. Father. I let it ring 4 times before answering. Have you seen the news? His voice sounds older, strained. They're auditing Emma's department. All her accounts are frozen. That must be stressful. Jade, please. Your mother's beside herself. Emma needs... What about what I need? The words escape before I can stop them. Did anyone care when I lost my apartment deposit because the loan you promised never came? Silence stretches between us. Then, we should discuss this in person. Family dinner tonight. I'm busy. This isn't a request. The line goes dead. I stare at the phone, something cold settling in my stomach. Nina touches my arm. You don't have to go. Yes, I do. I stand, gathering my things. Time to watch the show. The family home looks different now, knowing what I know. Each carefully maintained flower bed, every piece of expensive furniture, all of it built on lies and theft. Emma's car is already in the driveway. Inside, voices carry from the dining room. They can't prove anything, Emma's saying as I enter. She stops mid-sentence, her face hardening. You? Mother rushes to smooth things over. Girls, please, let's just have a nice dinner. Did you send that email? Emma demands, rising from her chair. Are you trying to destroy everything I've built? Everything you've stolen, you mean. Father slams his hand on the table. Enough. Both of you sit down. I remain standing. Why? So we can pretend everything's fine while Emma bleeds you dry? What are you talking about? Mother's voice wavers. Emma laughs, but there's panic in her eyes. She's jealous, Mother. She's always been jealous. Show them the documents, I tell her. Show them what you did with Father's power of attorney. The color drains from Father's face. Emma? I had no choice. She's crying now, perfectly timed tears. Ryan's gambling debts. I was trying to protect the family. By stealing their retirement, I pull out copies of the documents Ryan gave me. By emptying their accounts for your investments? Mother takes the papers with trembling hands. Mark, these numbers. Our savings. I can fix it, Emma insists. I just need time. Time for what? I cut in. To steal more? To run? Or maybe to have another baby and use that as a shield? You bitter little... Emma lunges forward, but Ryan catches her arm. Emma, don't. His voice is quiet. It's over. She whirls on him. You told her? You betrayed me? The room descends into chaos. Mother sobbing, Father demanding explanations, Emma and Ryan arguing. I stand in the middle of it all, watching years of perfect family facade crumble. My phone buzzes again. A text from an unknown number. Interesting timing on that tip about Emma. Want to know what else she's been hiding? I slip out while they're still arguing, the text burning in my pocket like a live coal. The satisfaction I expected feels hollow, replaced by something darker. This isn't just about Emma anymore. Whatever she's involved in, it's bigger than family theft. Outside, the summer air feels thick with possibility. I could stop now, let the audit and family drama take its course. Or I could follow this new thread, see just how deep Emma's deceptions go. I text back one word: everything. The reply comes instantly. Tomorrow, noon, Central Park bench by the lake. Come alone. I start my car, Emma's screams still echoing from the house. The game has changed. This isn't just revenge anymore. It's excavation, and I'm going to dig until there's nothing left to find. The park bench feels exposed, vulnerable. I check my phone, 11:58. A man in a charcoal suit approaches, his movements precise, deliberate. He sits without looking at me. Miss Thompson, your sister's quite the entrepreneur. Who are you? Someone who's been watching Emma's creative accounting for months. He slides a USB drive between us. Your parents aren't her only victims. I pocket the drive. What do you want? Consider it a mutual interest in justice. Emma's been laundering money through her investment schemes. Your family's savings were just convenient cover. My hands clench, of course. The perfect daughter's perfect life built on perfect lies. How much? Millions, and not just local money. He stands. Check the drive, but be careful who you tell. Some of her investors aren't as civilized as I am. He disappears into the crowd, leaving me with the weight of his words. At home, the drive reveals a labyrinth of shell companies, offshore accounts, and familiar names, including Ryan's gambling debts to people who don't forgive. My phone rings. Mother. Your father's in the hospital. Her voice breaks. Heart attack, the stress of everything. The drive burns in my laptop like a loaded gun. I'll be there. The hospital corridor stretches endlessly. Emma's there, of course, playing the devoted daughter. Her mascara-stained tears look rehearsed. How dare you show up, she hisses when she spots me. He's my father, too. Not after what you've done. She grabs my arm, pulling me aside. The audit team found irregularities. They're expanding the investigation. Good. You don't understand. There are people involved. Dangerous people. If they think I'm cooperating with authorities, maybe you should have thought about that before involving our family in your criminal enterprise. Her fingers dig deeper. I did it for us. For the family. No. I wrench free. You did it for yourself. Like always. Mother emerges from father's room, eyes red. He's asking for both of you. Father looks small in the hospital bed, monitors beeping steadily. My girls, he whispers. Please, stop this fighting. Emma starts her performance immediately. Daddy, I'm so sorry. I was just trying to... Enough. His voice is weak but firm. The truth. Now. I pull out my phone, showing him the files from the drive. It wasn't just our money, Father. Emma's been laundering funds for criminals. You're lying, Mother gasps. Ask her about the offshore accounts. Ask her what really happened to your retirement fund. Emma's facade cracks. They threatened Ryan, his gambling debts, but they were going to hurt the boys. Father's heart monitor speeds up. Mark, Mother warns. So you sacrificed our family instead? I press. Used Father's power of attorney to clean dirty money? I had no choice. A nurse appears. You need to leave. His blood pressure. Emma shoves past me, fleeing down the corridor. Mother follows, calling her name. I stay, watching Father's monitors normalize. I should have seen it, he murmurs. Should have protected you both better. It's too late for that. My phone buzzes, an unknown number. Decision time, Miss Thompson. The authorities get the evidence tomorrow. Your sister's associates won't be pleased. Father reaches for my hand. Whatever you're planning, Jade. Remember, she's still your sister. I look at him, really look at him, for the first time in years. The strong, intimidating father who always took Emma's side now seems fragile, human. Another victim of Emma's manipulation. She stopped being my sister long ago. Outside the hospital, I call the number back. If I give you everything I have on Emma, what happens to my family? They'll be protected, but your sister, well, both her legitimate and illegitimate associates will want their pound of flesh. I watch Emma through the hospital window, crying in mother's arms, still the center of attention, still playing the victim. The USB drive weighs heavy in my pocket. Salvation or damnation, depending on how I use it. I'll need guarantees, I tell the voice. Written protection for my parents, Ryan, the kids. And Emma? Through the glass, our eyes meet. For a moment, I see past the perfect facade to the desperate woman beneath. She mouths something. Please. Give me 24 hours, I say, and hang up. The game has changed. This isn't about family anymore. It's about survival. And I'm not sure whose. The family gathering for Father's return from the hospital feels like a powder keg waiting for a spark. Mother's arranged everything perfectly. Food, flowers, the pretense of normalcy. Emma sits beside Father, playing the devoted daughter, while Ryan hovers nervously near the door. I clutch my phone, containing everything needed to destroy Emma's carefully constructed world. The 24 hours are almost up. A toast, Mother announces, raising her glass. To family healing. Emma's eyes meet mine across the table. She knows. She has to know. My phone vibrates. Another message from the mysterious contact. Time's up. Decision? Father sets down his fork. Girls, I've been thinking about everything that's happened. A loud knock interrupts him. Two men in dark suits enter, followed by the man from the park bench. Ryan goes pale. Mrs. Brooks, one suit says, we need to discuss some irregularities in your accounts. Emma stands, hands shaking. This isn't the time. Actually, I pull out my phone. It's exactly the time. Show them, Emma. Show everyone what you've really been doing. Jade, please. Her voice cracks. Think about the boys. Like you thought about Father when you stole his retirement? Or me when you took my college fund? The suits move closer. Mrs. Brooks, we can do this privately, or... It wasn't just me. Emma's mask finally shatters. Ryan's debts, these people were going to hurt us. I had to protect my family. By destroying ours, I project the financial records onto the dining room wall using my phone. Look, Father, every transaction, every theft, every lie. Mother gasps at the numbers. Father's face goes ashen. You don't understand, Emma sobs. They'll kill Ryan. They'll take everything. They already have. I slam my hands on the table. You took everything from all of us. And for what? To save your perfect life? The man from the park steps forward. Actually, Miss Thompson, your sister's crimes go deeper than you know. Show them the last file. My hands shake as I open it. The room goes silent as images appear. Documents showing Emma's connection to international criminal organizations, money laundering schemes far beyond Ryan's gambling debts. Emma, Mother whispers, tell me this isn't true. But Emma's already running. Ryan tries to grab her, but she pushes past him, heading for the door. The suits move to follow. Wait! I call out, something clicking into place. The pregnancy, it's not real, is it? Just another manipulation. Emma freezes. Her laugh sounds hollow. You always were too clever, little sister, but not clever enough to see the whole picture. She pulls out a gun. Everything happens at once. Mother screams. The suits draw weapons. Father clutches his chest. Nobody moves. Emma's voice is eerily calm. Jade, delete the files, all of them, now. Or what? You'll shoot me? Your own sister? Sister? She laughs again. We stopped being sisters the moment you chose revenge over family. Delete them. I look at my phone. Years of evidence, proof of every crime, every manipulation. My chance for justice, for revenge. Emma, please, Ryan begs. Think about the boys. I am thinking about them. She's crying now, mascara running. Everything I did was for them, and you... She points the gun at me. You had to ruin it all. I raise my phone. Last chance, Emma. Surrender, and maybe... The gunshot is deafening. Pain explodes in my shoulder. Through the chaos, I see Emma running, hear sirens approaching. My phone clatters to the floor, screen cracking. Jade! Nina's voice seems far away. When did she arrive? Stay with me. Mother's crying, Father's having another attack, and somewhere in the distance, Emma's escaping with all her secrets. The man from the park kneels beside me. The files are safe. We'll find her. But as darkness creeps in at the edges of my vision, I realize the truth. In winning my revenge, I've lost everything else. The family I wanted to punish is shattered beyond repair, and the sister I wanted to destroy has become something far worse than I imagined. The last thing I see is my cracked phone screen, still projecting Emma's crimes on the wall, a testament to victory that feels more like defeat. Some victories, I whisper as consciousness fades, cost too much. The sirens grow louder, but Emma's already gone, taking with her any chance of this ending the way I planned. In trying to destroy her perfect life, I've unleashed something far more dangerous than simple revenge. The hospital room feels too small, my bandaged shoulder a constant reminder of Emma's final betrayal. 3 days since the shooting, and still no sign of her, until my phone lights up with a message. Storage Unit 247, come alone, or Ryan's gambling friends finish what they started. Nina tries to stop me from leaving. You can't trust her. Let the police handle it. She's still my sister. The words taste bitter, and those men will kill her. The storage facility looms against the sunset, rows of identical metal doors stretching endlessly. Unit 247's padlock hangs open, waiting. Inside, Emma stands beside a stack of boxes, looking smaller than I remember. You came alone? I step inside. Unlike you, I keep my promises. Promises? She laughs, but it sounds wrong. Like promising to protect family? Look how well that turned out. You shot me. You destroyed everything I built. You mean everything you stole? I gesture to my shoulder. Was it worth it? Becoming this? Emma moves closer, something desperate in her eyes. You don't understand. Ryan's debts were just the beginning. These people, they own me now. Every transaction, every investment, it was all them. Then why run? Turn yourself in. Get protection. Protection? She pulls out her phone, showing me a video. Lucas and Mason playing in an unfamiliar room. They took my boys, Jade. Said I had 24 hours to deliver the money or... Her voice breaks. The pieces click together. This meeting isn't about reconciliation. The files you have, the evidence, it's worth millions to the right buyers, enough to save my children. And damn everyone else? I step back. What about father's heart attack? Mother's breakdown? The family you destroyed? I never meant... She stops, head tilting. You hear that? Footsteps outside. Multiple sets. They followed you, Emma whispers. Or you led them here. The door slams shut. Metal groans as something heavy blocks it. Emma's phone rings. A familiar voice fills the small space. Ladies, thank you for making this easy. Where are my children? Emma demands. Safe, for now. But we need those files, Miss Thompson. All of them. Your sister's evidence could cause... complications. I pull out my phone. You want complications? One click sends everything to every law enforcement agency in the country. Then your nephews die first. Emma lunges for my phone. We struggle, crashing into boxes. My shoulder screams in pain. Give it to them, she begs. Please, they're just babies. Stop, I shove her back. Think, if we give them everything, we're both dead. The boys too, they'll never leave witnesses. Something shifts in Emma's expression. For a moment, I see my sister again. Not the perfect facade or the desperate criminal, but the girl who once protected me from schoolyard bullies. The ventilation shaft, she whispers. It connects to Unit 245. Smoke starts seeping under the door. They're trying to flush us out. The files, the voice calls. 10 seconds or we do this the hard way. I look at my phone, then at Emma. Do you trust me? Never. She smiles sadly. But I don't have a choice. I hit send, not to the criminals or the police, but to Nina, along with our location and a prearranged signal. Help is coming, but we have to survive long enough. The smoke thickens. Emma boosts me toward the vent as pounding starts on the door. If we get out of this, I grunt, pulling myself up, you're still going to prison. I know. She coughs. But my boys... We'll have one parent who chose them over crime. I reach down. Now climb. We crawl through darkness as the storage unit fills with smoke. Behind us, the door gives way with a crash. "They're in the vents!" someone shouts. Emma grabs my ankle. "Jade, I'm sorry for everything." "Save it, we're not dead yet." Sirens wail in the distance. Nina came through. But as gunshots ring out below us, I realize this isn't over. Emma and I may survive this night, but our family will never be the same. Sometimes revenge doesn't end with a bang, but with two sisters crawling through darkness, running from the consequences of their choices. The courthouse steps feel colder than they should in summer. Emma stands before the judge in designer prison orange, her perfect posture finally broken. Mother clutches father's arm in the gallery, while Ryan sits alone, the boys mercifully absent. I touch my healed shoulder as Emma speaks. "I accept full responsibility for my actions," she says, but her eyes find mine. "The path to hell is paved with desperate choices." The sentence comes down heavy. 15 years. Mother sobs. Father stares straight ahead, aged decades in months. I remain seated as they lead Emma away, her final glance carrying something between hatred and understanding. Outside, Ryan approaches with papers in hand. "The boys ask about you." Better than asking about their mother in prison. I take the documents, adoption papers. Emma's giving up custody to protect them from her crimes. "They need family," he says quietly. "They have you. They need more than a reformed gambling addict." He runs a hand through his graying hair. "Emma wants you to be their guardian if anything happens to me." The irony tastes like ash. The sister who shot me now trusts me with her children's future. Nina waits by her car, watching. She's been my shadow through all this, keeping me from drowning in victory's hollow echo. "I'll think about it," I tell Ryan. Father catches me before I leave. Was it worth it? Was what worth it? The revenge, destroying your sister, our family. I look at the courthouse where Emma disappeared. She destroyed herself. I just exposed the truth. And now, what's left for any of us? The question follows me home, where Emma's case files still cover my desk. Evidence of her crimes, her lies, her desperate attempt to maintain her perfect life. But beneath them lies something else. Childhood photos I couldn't bring myself to pack away. Two sisters before shadows and resentment grew between them. My phone rings. The prison. Emma, making her one aloud call. "I never apologized," she says without greeting. "For the shooting, for everything before." "Save it. We're past apologies." "Maybe, but I need you to know, it wasn't all lies. Not in the beginning. I really thought I could protect everyone. By sacrificing me? By being perfect, strong enough for all of us." She pauses. "Ryan showed me the papers. Will you do it? Watch over them?" I trace the scar on my shoulder. "Why me?" "Because you're the only one strong enough to tell them the truth when they're ready. About their mother, their father, all of it." "The truth?" I laugh. "Since when do you care about truth?" "Since I realized lies cost me everything." Her voice catches. "They'll need someone who understands that." The line goes dead. I stare at the phone, then at the childhood photos. Two girls smiling, before one became the golden child and the other learned to hate. Nina brings wine later, settling beside me on the balcony. "So what now? You won. Emma's in prison. The truth's out." "Truth," I murmur. Funny thing about truth, it doesn't fix anything, just leaves wreckage to sort through. And the boys? I think of Lucas and Mason, innocent casualties of adult wars, of Emma's final request, not for forgiveness, but for protection of what matters most. Maybe that's the real revenge, I say finally. Not destroying Emma's perfect life, but building something better from its ruins. Something real. Nina studies me. Sounds less like revenge and more like redemption. Maybe they're the same thing in the end. Below, the city lights flicker like stars, each one a story of triumph or tragedy. Somewhere in that maze of light and shadow, two boys wait to learn who they'll become, their mother's sons or their own men. I pull out my phone and text Ryan. I'll do it. For them, not for her. His reply comes quickly. That's exactly why she chose you. The night air carries a hint of autumn, of change coming whether we're ready or not. I lift my wine glass, toasting the shadows of who we were and the uncertainty of who we'll become. Some victories leave scars deeper than any defeat. But maybe that's how you know they mattered.